What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and some very important things involving where I see the share price going for tomorrow based off technical analysis and other factors. I'm also going to talk about the overall stock market and why the market ended up in the red today. However, guys, I do see some good news coming as we do have some big pieces of news coming out from Amazon that could definitely change the scope of the market going into tomorrow. I'm also going to discuss whether it's actually true that Tesla recalled 800,000 vehicles or is the media actually exaggerating. So the truth is actually very different from what is being reported. I'm going to show you guys what the actual truth is. I'm also going to end the video by talking about an update from the Tesla Gigafactory in Berlin and what Elon Musk, the man, the myth, the legend, Elon Musk has been tweeting about, as we do have some major tweets that just came out that make me very bullish and excited for the future of Tesla. Now, before I say anything about Tesla and what Elon Musk has been tweeting about and what on earth the market is doing, I do have to mention some very important things first. First off, I'm not a financial planner. This is all for educational purposes only, so please do not take this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. And not only benefits me and benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you do sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're not only going to qualify for up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500, but you're also going to have the chance to win up to $200,000 as Moomoo is giving that away for the new year. So if you want a chance to win 200 grand, guys, check out the link down below, sign up and deposit $100 to get your chance. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, we had a very interesting day today. Looking at the 1 day, 1 minute candles, we can see something super interesting. So we basically were starting very low at $880 a share. We ran up to $937. Then after that, we got rejected and dropped pretty hard down to about $891, down 1.6%. However, guys, this was just a mere reflection of the overall market because the entire market was basically in the red today after what just came out. So I want to talk about that in a little bit of detail before I talk about why I think Tesla's actually going to be green for tomorrow based off what is being reported. So let's look at the SPY real quick. The SPY is down 2.35%. The Nasdaq is also down the Nasdaq is right here. It's down about 3.74%. So the entire market took a big beating after this was reported. Facebook stock, or also Meta. For those of you who don't know, Facebook is now renamed Meta. It basically dropped 26% after its earnings report, and this caused the entire market to get punched very hard. The fear and greed index is also on the fearful side at 32, which is just another indicator that there is some fear, uncertainty, and doubt associated with what's going on with the market, as the market did take a big dump after what was reported. This also happened because of other earnings reports that came out, but this played a major role in the Nasdaq and the overall market being in the red, as we're seeing a ripple effect unfolding. Now, for those of you who don't know, guys, it's not the end of the world. And here's the reason why I want you guys to just not be afraid. First off, don't be afraid of small dips like this. It happens commonly, so don't be too scared. But also, guys, the entire market started to rally in the after hours. Tesla's up 1.46% in the after hours. So is AMC and NEO and the SPY. Like almost everything is in the green in the after hours. And here's the reason why. Amazon had their earnings report, guys, and they absolutely killed it. They killed it, guys. They jumped 15% after their earnings report, and they will be hiking their Prime membership fees. But I want to talk about that in a little bit of detail. So look at the numbers right here. Their earnings per share was expected to be $3.77. The actual number was $27. They absolutely killed it right over there. Now, the rest of the things from net sales to revenue, those numbers were just okay. They weren't too great. They were pretty much close to expected, but their earnings per share was so good, guys, that the market and Amazon started rallying after that. So that in turn is, in my opinion, going to have a good effect on Tesla and the overall market. And I'm going to talk about where I see it going. So right now, guys, I feel like technical analysis is not necessarily going to be the best way of looking at Tesla, actually, because if we looked at the VWAP and everything like that, it would indicate that we have some bearish momentum because of that big drop. Like the MACD is indicating that it's about to flip at the 9-day moving average, meaning we could drop from here. The RSI is showing that. But for the first time, guys, or at least one of the very rare days, I'm not going to look at technical analysis. And I'm going to tell you guys something that's a little bit, how should I say, a little bit uncommon, right? It's not very common for me to say something like this, but the truth is, here's what happened to Tesla. we're following this downward trend, this falling wedge, and we're still in this formation, but we bounced out of it today, which is a good sign. But we got very, very hardly rejected after that. It was a hard rejection we took. But tomorrow, I think we're going to see the same thing, except we're not going to get rejected as hard. I think Tesla's going to run up tomorrow. I could be wrong, but this is what I predict is going to happen. I think we're going to bounce with the overall market. I think the market has seen so much red, and we want to see a green Friday finally, and Tesla's going to end up in the green. That's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. I think we're actually going to close above the 900. That doesn't mean I think we're out of this downward trend, but I'm saying just for tomorrow in particular, I think we're going to be in the green. And I like to do predictions for fun. I think we should close in the low $900 level, which I just think is pretty good considering we've seen so much red recently. Now, when it comes to Tesla in particular, guys, I'm super bullish for the long term, but in the short term, there is something I have to discuss. Look at this right here. So I mapped out the falling wedge using TradingView. Let me show you guys this right here. This is known as the inverse head and shoulder. Okay, this is what it looks like. You have a neckline. This is like the level of resistance for this particular time frame. You have a left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder before you guys have a big breakout. This resembles Tesla almost, or at least really, really well. So what do I think is happening? So right over here, the white line represents the neck and shoulder. The green line represents the price action. So I know it's a little confusing. I know this is how I think the overall like pattern is playing out. And then for Tesla's price action, I do see a bit of a dip. It is possible because of the gap right here at 850. I see that maybe being filled in the next upcoming weeks. So Tesla is probably going to drop a little bit for the next upcoming weeks. But for tomorrow, guys, tomorrow, I think we're going to run up. We're still going to be testing this trend line, staying within this channel, and we should be in the low 900s, in my opinion, when we close. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, guys, and I admit my mistakes. But I just want to put it out there. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, I also want to talk about what happens after that, and that is a good rally. I think a rally is going to come once we fill the gap, and I'm still very bullish for maybe the somewhat short term, but also for the long term. Now, with that out of the way, guys, I told you guys what I think is going to happen to the price. But another reason why we were red today is because of this piece of news that came out. And I wanted to tell you guys the truth. Okay, the media is not necessarily giving you guys the right context right over here. We're seeing tons of articles. Tesla recalls 800,000 vehicles for seatbelt chime problem, blah, blah, blah. Well, is that really what's actually going on? Because in the past, cars were not as advanced as Teslas, and when there's a recall, that was a serious thing. Well, a recall has a different definition as time changes because Teslas are not your typical cars. So here's the very important key takeaway. Down here somewhere, I read it. It says right here. So basically, Tesla has an issue. The issue comes because of the fact that the federal motor vehicle safety laws require chimes to sound when vehicles are started, and the sound stops when the front belts are buckled. So right now, Teslas are having issues with that. So to fix the problem, Tesla is sending out an over-the-air software update early this month. The safety agency says without the chime, a driver may not know if their belt is unbuckled or something, and that could increase the risk of injury, which is true. But is that the same thing as a typical recall? No, it's not the same thing. They're fixing it with a software update. Okay, it's totally different from your typical recall because Teslas are different cars. I want to make that as clear as possible. So when you see articles like this, okay, maybe it's true. Maybe you could call it a Tesla recall because a Tesla recall is different from a typical recall, right? But it's affecting 800,000 cars. Sure, maybe that's a little bit concerning. But at the end of the day, it's just one simple software update and they're fixed. So I just feel like big headlines like this could easily be misleading. So I want you guys to be aware of that, okay? It's a simple software update fix. It doesn't even say it right here in the key points. I don't even see it say anything about the software update. They're not even like mentioning that, right? They're kind of like twisting the story, making it much worse than how bad it actually is. And I'm not saying it's not bad. I don't want to trivialize the extent at which this is, this is happening, right? It's not as bad considering it's just a software update fix. That's all my point is. So don't let headlines like this scare you so horribly. Like, sure, this is something that Tesla needs to improve on, but it's not the end of the world, and it's nowhere near as scary or as bad news as the media is making it seem, or many news sources out there. So I want to clarify, it's a software update fix. It's not necessarily your typical recall. Anyways, I want to talk about this right here. we're also seeing news coming out that the Tesla factory in Berlin is almost about to start production. They're getting closer and closer and closer. That's very, very good news for us going forward. Think about the effect this is going to have on Tesla for the next upcoming months, for the next upcoming years on their earnings reports. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Now, the big thing about this is the fact that there are some supply chain issues which are slowing them down. There were some political issues that kind of got in the way in Germany, but those are kind of like setting aside right now, and Tesla's starting the production phase right now. They're getting closer and closer and closer. I'm sorry. They're getting very close to starting it. They're not necessarily there yet. They're very close. That's what I'm trying to say. So we're super excited for it, guys. We have a big update, and I can't wait for the day they start production. They're very, very close. So that's what I want to report. It's going to be very bullish news for their earnings and other things like that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is what Elon Musk has been talking about. He basically tweeted that Tesla's working hard to provide megapacks for grid stabilization. So for those of you who are confused or don't know what this means, guys, in Texas, for those of you who don't know, there's an interconnected power grid system in the United States, or at least for the continuous states. So that doesn't include Alaska and Hawaii, but for every state in America, that all the power grids are connected, except for Texas. It's the Lone Star State, guys. So this means that if the state of Nevada needs power, California could pump power to Nevada. If the state of Florida needs some power, it could get power from other states, right? Or it could pump power to different states around it. Texas is not part of that system. Texas is very independent. It's the most Texas thing you could think of, right? And the thing is, now that this is happening, Texas is going to be providing megapacks. The megapacks are going to help provide power for these individuals. Once again, stored energy. Why is that significant? Because it's going to help Tesla improve the energy sector of their business. This is a very good reason as to why Tesla may have also moved their headquarters. That's one of the reasons to Texas. That's going to help them build more revenue, make more money, improve their business, get more and more out there, and provide more energy for individuals, which is very, very good for not just the people there who actually went through very hard times earlier this year when the power grid systems failed on them, but also it improves their numbers, their revenue, things like that, which investors love, which will in turn, in my opinion, help to improve the share prices. So at the end of the day, guys, I know it may not always seem like, earnings are going to cause stocks to run. That doesn't always happen. But for the long term, guys, for the long term, eventually it's going to work. Eventually it's going to work out. It may not always be the case, but eventually it's going to work out very well. So, anyways, guys, I showed you guys what I think is going to happen. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a green day. I think we're going to close in the low 900s. But I also think that we may have one last dip to fill the gap from a technical perspective the next upcoming week or so before we have a big rally and move to the upside. We may go right back up to the high 900s or 1000 in the next upcoming weeks or month or so. So that's something I want you guys to be prepared for. But remember, I'm not giving you financial advice. You have the information now. This is information I deem important to share with you guys. And now you get to choose whatever you want to do. I thank you all for listening. I'm very bullish for the long term. I do think tomorrow is going to be a green day, but I'm prepared for anything for Tesla. And I can't wait for what the future holds. I thank you. There are very, very big bullish catalysts coming, and I'll see you in the next one. Tesla to the moon, and peace out.